proud sponsor of the American Heart Association's Heart Walk.
How you doing?
Welcome inside the Dome in St. Louis, where these fans are trying to get behind their Rams, who take on the Dallas Cowboys today. The Rams record 0-3, the Cowboys 1-2. And now welcome to our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck, along with a guy named Aikman and a guy named Chris Collinsworth. 0-3 for the St. Louis Rams. Who would have thought that possible? That's a reality. What do they have to do today to get into the win column?
Well, the first thing they have to do is they've got to be able to protect Kurt Warner up front with their offensive line. Also look for Mike Martz to try to protect Kurt by running Marshall Faulk early in this ball game. The question, though, the best part of the Cowboys defense is their front seven. Also, Marshall Faulk coming off of the neck injury from a week ago. How well is he able to hold up? Provided they are not able to run the football as effectively as what they'd like, you can expect the Rams then to try to spread out the Cowboy defense, go to 4 and 5 wides, and take advantage of some of those young defensive backs for the Cowboys. But, Chris, we all know that if they do that, they're not giving Kurt Warner much protection up front.
And they have issues on that offensive line. And you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you talked about it, the strength of this football team right now is that defensive line, which is a far jump from what they were a season ago. Last year, just 24 sacks on the entire season. Right now, they're on pace for 64. So if the Rams want to help those tackles too much, I think it's really going to open up the inside for a guy like Leroy Glover, who I believe is their best push pressure to put some pressure on Kurt Warner.
You think Kurt Warner's aware of that?
Oh, yeah.
There is no doubt Kurt Warner will be peaking. We remind you to answer today's Sprint Virtual Coach question, which 2001 non-playoff team will make the playoffs this year? You can vote now using PCS Vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. In this dome, the fans for the Rams thinking this is a must-win. A loss today against the Dallas Cowboys, and this thing may unravel. The Dallas Cowboys had high expectations coming in. They have a chance to get to 500. The year for the Rams, they started in Denver. They hosted the Giants. They lose on Monday night in Tampa Bay. 0-3, taking on Dallas, next on Fox.
October's magical...
Cowboys leaving St. Louis late today with a 500 record, or will the Rams finally have a reason to smile after what has been a frustrating and mistake-filled start? Mike Martz spent the bulk of the week sleeping at Rams Park, working on things, trying to work with the offense, work with the question marks on this team, deal with the media, deal with the Kurt Warner injury situation. Is there an injury? Troy Aikman telling us before the game that it's not the thumb, it's not the hand, it's the shoulder that's been bothering Warner, and it's gotten progressively worse as this week has worn on. And then there's Dave Campo, a record of 1-2, the embarrassing loss against the Houston Texans. Then they beat Tennessee, which was a surprise, and last week just absolutely dismantled in Philadelphia.
Well, it's been a tough week for both teams for different reasons, and who would have guessed coming into this ball game that the Rams would be winless and the Cowboys would have the better record?
And there is pressure on this Rams team, a different sort of pressure than they've ever really felt in the Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Mike Martz era. It's one thing when you're going into a Super Bowl and high expectations, that's a certain kind of pressure. It's an entirely different kind of pressure to be 0-3 and trying to get a win in the win column.
Cowboys won the toss. They receive. Reggie Swinton and Michael Wiley waiting deep. Swinton returned one 100 yards last week at the Vet. Glad you're with us. Swinton gets a crack at it from the 2. Good burst to the 29. And that's where Quincy Carter and the Dallas offensive unit will set up shop. The offensive line, they have moved guys all over the place. The only player starting at the same spot, Flozell Adams, Andre Girard was a question mark during the week. He will make the start at center, but the big move is Larry Allen, future Hall of Famer, moving out to the right tackle spot. Emmitt Smith, Robert Thomas in the backfield. The wide receivers, Galloway and Bryant. The tight end is McGee. They start with a throw. A low throw, and the catch is made by Galloway, a gain of 5. The defense for the Rams has been just as poor as the offense when you consider this was a unit that ended up 3rd in the NFL under the direction of Lovie Smith. The linebackers have been very disappointing, and now they're without Tommy Polley, a tear in his groin. He's out 3 weeks. There's the secondary, and they have been picked apart week after week. 2nd down and 5. Delayed handoff. Emmitt Smith nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Robert Thomas first there.
Well, a lot of pressure on Quincy Carter coming into this ball game of this week. Jerry Jones came out and speculated as to whether or not Quincy Carter would be the long-term answer at quarterback, and he's had to answer a lot of questions as far as his performance. He's been up and down over the course of this season. They're going to need a good performance out of him today.
Setting up. He's got Bryant wide open. Made a move on Aeneas Williams. And a first down deep inside Rams territory. Down to the 31, a gain of 34.
Excuse me, Joe. Aeneas Williams really bit on this route. Just a little hesitation and go there by Antonio Bryant. Very unlike Aeneas. The Cowboys last week against Philadelphia showed a lot of those underneath quick kind of passes, and I just think that that time Aeneas thought he was going to end up with an interception for a touchdown and gave up a big play.
From the 31 of St. Louis, Emmitt Smith. Not much. Adam Archuleta up from the strong safety spot, a gain of only 2.
Troy, I know that sometimes I can overanalyze things, and I don't want to do that all the time. But Robert Thomas, when you're watching him play fullback, there are occasions he just runs right by people. He ran right into the hole and never hit anybody. I know Moose Johnson's a friend of yours, and Emmitt, of course, loves him and was a great lead blocker. But there are times you've got to hit somebody when you go through there, even if it's the wrong guy.
Yeah, and you see Galen Hall right there, the running back coach, who was Emmitt Smith's coach when he was with the Florida Gators in college, and he's talking with Robert Thomas about it there.
2nd down and 8. Crowd is trying to get into it and make some noise. Looking for a reverse. Galloway. The Rams sniff it out. And a loss all the way back to the 36. Leonard Little. Good pressure up from the end. A loss of 6.
Well, the Cowboys have struggled with running the football over the first 3 ball games, but the one thing that they've been able to do is they've been able to run the reverse, and it's the only way they've been able to get outside. You see Leonard Little right here. He's able to hold, contain, and force Emmitt Smith up, or excuse me, force Joey Galloway up inside. But that is one of the only plays they've had all year that have allowed them to get out on the corner. Didn't work there.
3rd down and 14. Big pressure, big sack, and a big hold for the St. Louis defense. Leonard Little again.
Well, we talked about it so much. Larry Allen moving out to the right tackle position. He's certainly a big, strong, physical guy. The question becomes, can he handle the speed rush of a guy like Leonard Little? And at least the first answer is no.
So 2 huge defensive plays by the St. Louis Rams to push the Dallas Cowboys back outside field goal range. Micah Noor with Terrence Wilkins waiting deep. High hanging punt and into the end zone. So the Rams dodge a bullet here in the opening minutes in St. Louis, in our first look at Kurt Warner and company.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Kurt Warner and the Rams offense. You look at what Kurt Warner has done at home in his NFL career. First 15 games, invincible. The last 7 games, a 4-3 record, but 12 touchdowns compared to 16 interceptions. And the Rams have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. Their 0-3 record, and questions all around this offense. They start with it on the ground, and Marshall Faulk straight up the gut. Lost the football. and the Dallas Cowboys have taken over. Dexter Coakley ends up with a football as Marshall Faulk laid it on the turf, and Faulk is down.
And you don't know whether it's the neck or not, but boy, he sure is getting up gingerly. And I don't care how tough a guy you are, I don't care how strong a guy you are, if you have a bad neck and on the first play of the game you have to go stick it into a pile, it is not a very good feeling. And Roy Williams came up and met him helmet to helmet right there, and Marshall still looks like he's hurting.
Yeah, I don't know that he was completely comfortable coming into this game with his neck. He said all the right things. He was feeling better, but right there, you know, one blow and coming in, this was going to be a game where they were going to try to give him a heavy dose of the football, let him run and take some of the pass pressure off of Kurt Warner. Offensive line there does a great job and presents a hole for him, and then he just takes the big hit from Roy Williams.
So now the Cowboys get it right back. First down at the Ram 35. Just inside at the 34, and Carter's going to throw. Quick throw, complete to Galloway. He's knocked down just inside the 30. The ball popped out, and the Rams are saying they have it. And they do. Scanina comes away with it as the Rams and Cowboys play I got it, you take it.
And I know last week, talking with Mike Martz, he was very upset about the fact when the Rams offense turned the ball over that they allowed the Buccaneers offense to go down and get points, and nobody says that they have to be able to score. Right here, great job by the defense of getting the ball back for their offense.
Galloway, the hit by Davis. Scanina with the recovery, and the defense has come up big for the Rams so far.
I see.
I'm sure fans in Dallas saw the same thing we saw going to break, that the knee of Joey Galloway may have been down before the ball came out, and Dallas has challenged this ruling on the field.
Right there, is that knee on the ground before the ball comes out?
Yeah, and that's the question. The only thing you don't see is because of the position of his arm and elbow, is in fact the ball moving? Did he have possession of the ball when his knee touched the ground?
And Don Davis, number 58, came in and punched the ball out, but when did the ball actually leave his arm? You can see it before the elbow hit the ground, but was it before the knee hit the ground? That's the question.
There's the punch. There's the ball moving against the body of Galloway, and I've changed my mind already.
From that angle, it looked like the ball was in fact coming out prior to the knee hitting the ground. On the first angle that we saw, it looked like you could make a case for him having possession when the knee went on the ground.
Well, remember, you have to have conclusive evidence, which really weighs in the Rams' favor here since it was ruled their ball initially. I would have to say, in a completely neutral setting, I thought the knee hit, then the ball was punched out, but it was so close, I don't know if they'll overturn it.
That's the shift I had. I thought definitely the knee was down the first replay we had. Looking at the last two, it looked like the ball started to come out before the knee hit down. We'll get the call from Larry Nemmers.
314-992-0633.
There was no, after reviewing the play, there was no indisputable evidence that the ball was not out when the knee hit. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands. Fumble, recovery by St. Louis. Dallas is charged with their first team timeout.
And I think that's the right call. I mean, that's the rule. It's got to be indisputable evidence in order to overturn it. We're up here talking about, did we see it? Did we not see it? Obviously, the officials saw the same thing. Nothing was conclusive. Fumble ball.
I agree.
Well, now the Rams have it. They've run only one play on offense. They had a huge hole up the middle. Marshall Faulk had the first down, then got dinged, fumbled, and yet he's back out there at the moment, set up behind Hetherington, the fullback. Conwell and Manu Maleuna, the two tight ends, are in there, and they go right back to Faulk. Darren Wood Johnson made the stop after a gain of 8. And we go back to Los Angeles and check in with James Brown.
Hey, Joe, Buffalo's opening drive of 75 yards capped with this 2-yard pass from Drew Bledsoe to Fearless Price. Buffalo up 7-0. Take a look at Detroit, already up 3-0. Aaron Brooks hit, fumble recovered by James Hall. He takes it 21 yards to pay dirt. Believe it or not, Detroit on top, 10-0. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, James Brown. Saying we got them right where we want them after they came back down 20-0 last week against Chicago. 3 plays. They've run it 3 times with Marshall Faulk. He just got 1, and he's about a yard shy of a first down. The offensive line, look at the tackles. John St. Clair, he struggled all year. He's still at right tackle, and Grant Williams is taking the place of the injured Orlando Pace. The running backs, Falk and Hetherington, they miss James Hodgins. Then Holt and Bruce, and the tight end is Ernie Conwell. 3rd and 1. And a toss to Falk. Penalty flag on the play as Falk was brought down shy of the first down. Thrown in the area of a hold, and we'll check the marker. It is a hold, but Falk's indicating it's against Dallas.
Holding, defense, number 97. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
The old defensive holding from the defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's Leroy Glover, and you see him there, 97, right here. They got him for hold. Right there is when he grabs the lineman and pulls him down. That was Adam Timmerman that he pulled down on the ground, and they caught him on it. And I tell you, Leroy Glover has been a tremendous addition for this football team. He came from New Orleans Saints last year. He's a guy who works hard in practice. He's been, after 1 season, really 3 games, one of the big leaders for this team in the locker room, and really a great player. And he's had a lot to do with Greg Ellis in the year that he's had rushing the passer already.
And let's talk about why he would do that, so he could open it up for the linebackers to fill in behind.
We've had a lot of veterans step up, the Cowboys have this past week, and try to light a fire under this Cowboys team. Play action pass. Wide open is Marshall Faulk. A breakdown defensively and a first down at the Dallas 40. They are going to work on the linebackers of the Dallas Cowboys today.
Well, this is really what you've got to do. The Cowboys have been playing this cover 2 defense with the 2 deep safeties. You watch these linebackers underneath and how deep that they get. Right here is where this group of linebackers is, and when you get that kind of depth with that intermediate defense, then you're going to open up some things underneath to Marshall Faulk like that. Great patience by Kurt Warner.
From the Dallas 40. Warner under pressure, throws, and it's picked off by Ellis. All kinds of pressure from Roy Williams. There's Warner looking at the back of his hand as he has just thrown his 8th interception.
Well, we talked about a lot of different things. Here comes Roy Williams right off the bottom of your screen on the blitz. Kurt Warner obviously sees him and rushes this throw on the screen. There have been a lot of interceptions so far this year that have not been the fault of Kurt Warner. This one clearly is. He got rushed, he got hurried, and he made a bad play because you had Ellis coming up right in position to make the interception.
And then probably most importantly, they're working on Kurt Warner right now. He came up immediately grabbing his hand, hollering for a trainer, and they're looking at it now.
Second turnover for St. Louis, and the Cowboys run it with their fullback, Robert Thomas. He got 3.
Here's a look at that last play that he throws, and it looks like right there when it goes into the turf, somehow, if it's his wrist or his hand, something, but he immediately came off the field and summoned for some help by the trainer.
Jamie Martin is starting to loosen up as they look at the right hand of Kurt Warner. 2nd down and 7 for Dallas. We've had some action, but no points. Carter wide open. That's his fullback Thomas, and he's got a first down at the Ram 41. Gain of 15.
And the Cowboys better come up with an answer for Leonard Little on the backside. So far, they've had tight ends trying to help on him. They've had big Larry Allen out there trying to block him, and he is getting close. He almost got to Quincy Carter again on that one. He could well have a big day today.
Little checks out on 1st and 10. Carter steps up and throws, and it's dropped by the rookie Bryant.
Well, you see Kurt Warner going in to get it checked out his hand, and that is not a good sign. I know he's had problems with that hand and the finger and the thumb, and we said coming into this game that everything was fine with that, but clearly not feeling good now. You can see that index or the pinky finger right there, dislocation it appears of the index or pinky finger.
2nd down and 10. That's Emmitt Smith. He gets a couple. That's all. 3rd and long coming up. Mike Martz telling us yesterday, we have got to protect Kurt Warner, which is a change in philosophy. And then he went on to say, if we lose number 13, we're in big trouble. And it looks like for the moment, they've lost number 13.
Well, I think, you know, in the past, he's always kind of had a bravado attitude about, hey, we do what we do. We're not worried about Kurt getting hit. I think now, after the last 2 weeks, the pounding that he's taken, he is now concerned about the hits that he's had.
3rd down and 9 for Dallas. Carter over the middle. The catch is made. Bryant was tapped short of the 1st down. And we go down to the sideline and Pam Oliver. Pam?
All right, Joe. Kurt Warner taken into the locker room. As you saw, he's got a dislocated pinky finger on his throwing hand. He's gone in now for some x-rays to determine the extent of the injury, and obviously a lot of offensive players down here very concerned. Back to you.
And I know every quarterback holds the ball differently. For me, the way that I held the football, which is a little unorthodox, the pinky would be a real problem. You know, it may not be a problem for Kurt Warner as far as throwing the football.
For the first time this season, the Cowboys are going for it on 4th down. Penalty flag on the play, incomplete pass, and we'll check the marker.
Incomplete, penalty flag down.
The defense had 12 men on the field to snap. The 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
Lovie Smith dumbfounded that his defense would have 12 guys on the field. They did stop Dallas, but why not? They had an extra guy.
You talk about a huge play in the ball game right there. 4th down, the pass incomplete. You're going to stop them. Their defense did such a great job last week against Tampa Bay, despite all the futility on the offensive side of keeping this team in it, and now basically a gift for the Dallas Cowboys.
On 1st down, a toss to Emmitt Smith. A lot of room to run. Knocked down with a Dallas 1st down.
Well, let's see if we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's exactly how many they have. Good job by the officials.
Travis Fisher, a rookie out of Central Florida, was the one that came out answering to Lovie Smith. Larry Allen out of the lineup, bothered by his left ankle, and Javier Collins is in it, wide open. Darnay Scott, the St. Louisan, for a touchdown.
Well, Quincy's going to roll out here to the right. It's off of play action, which is what they like to do. Sprint out here to the right, get all the defense moving in that direction. You see Darnay Scott, he fakes and rolls. That's part of the play. Get everybody off of him and leaves them wide open for the touchdown.
And I'll bet you the Cincinnati Bengals, when Bruce Kosel was there, scored 10 touchdowns off that exact play.
With 5:19 remaining in the 1st quarter, it's a 7-0 Dallas lead. The Rams have turned it over twice and may have lost Kurt Warner. The Cowboys jump on top as they try to even their record today at 2-2.
This is what the subject.
Eyes are on Kurt Warner. He's back out on the field with his hands on his hips, and we'll see if he comes back into this game. The scoring drive for Dallas, 7 plays covering 59 yards, and the one that got him into the end zone, Darnay Scott, 17-yard reception from number 17, Quincy Carter. This is Wilkins. He is smacked at the 25. The Rams offense back onto the field. Jamie Martin getting ready to play. 7-0 Dallas.
By Subway, fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. By Universal Pictures, before the Silence of the Lambs there was Red Dragon, Friday. And by Miller Lite, life is best told in a place called Miller Time.
Beautiful day outside, as inside it's anything but beautiful for the hometown St. Louis Rams. Down 7-0, and they've lost Kurt Warner for at least the next short while as Marshall falls forward, gets 4 yards, and we go down to the sideline and Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, the news on Kurt Warner, a little worse than expected. That right pinky finger is broken. Remember, he broke that same pinky finger a couple of years ago against Kansas City. He missed about 6 weeks the last time. Back to you.
Thank you, Pam.
There it is right there. Pinky finger that he broke.
That was in the 2000 season at Kansas City. 2nd down, and Martin throws. Pass is complete. That's Marshall Falk. Jamie Martin went down early in the preseason with a separated throwing shoulder. Look at his 8-year career. This is actually his 2nd go-around with the Rams.
Yeah, and Jamie Martin last year is when he joined the team, and he joined them late in the offseason. And so he didn't get to go through the offseason program. He didn't go through the training camp last year. This was his first offseason to spend with the Rams, and then he was going to get his opportunity in training camp to really get acclimated with this offense, but then he separated his shoulder. So he's a guy who really has not played that much within this offense.
3rd down and 3. Wide open. 1st down, Torrey Holt.
But Jamie Martin is also a guy that the Rams believe in. They signed him to a long-term deal. They feel like he is the perfect guy to be the backup quarterback here. Back in '95 with the Amsterdam Admirals, played 9 games there, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and helped them win the World Bowl title. So he's a guy that has some experience in big games.
1st down for St. Louis. The ball at their own 39. Too high for Conwell. Kevin Hardy with some late pressure on Jamie Martin.
Well, and right now we said coming into this game that Marshall Falk was going to be a big part of this game plan because of the problems within the offensive line. Now he even becomes a much bigger part of this offensive game plan because of the inexperience of Jamie Martin.
But what's been interesting is when Kurt Warner was in the game, they were handing the ball off to Marshall Falk. Now that you've got Jamie Martin in the game, they're dropping back and throwing the ball. There were some big holes up front.
Just got the play away, and a draw play to Marshall Falk. He gets out to the 42, had to fight for his 3 yards. If you look at time spent trailing, this is an interesting graphic. The Rams in 4 games this season have already spent more minutes trailing than they have in the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why we see what it is that we're seeing here today as far as them going from a running game plan early, now with Jamie Martin throwing the football. When they get behind, they become impatient. They want to go back down the field and get those touchdowns and get back in these ball games.
Can they do that with Jamie Martin at quarterback? He's going to run. Big hit by Williams, and Martin is short of a 1st down.
Boy, Roy Williams has been a factor in this ball game already. So far, we've already seen him on the blitz, force the interception by Kurt Warner. And now when it looks like Jamie Martin's going to scramble out for the first down, Roy Williams just came ripping up out of that, and he wants a shot at this quarterback. He said, I want to see what your number 3 quarterback looks like.
Yeah, when you go head first like that as a quarterback, it opens yourself up to get blown up. If you slide, the defensive end is not able to take a shot like that.
And Roy Williams, a guy who is much more comfortable playing around the line of scrimmage and blitzing and playing the run than he is back playing the pass.
Again, they just get the snap away, and an ugly kick from Berger, but it takes a good bounce. And the Cowboys will start with it at their own 6. Ugly but useful. Dallas has it, and a 7-0 lead.
Danny taxes too. Spiders, listed on the American Stock Exchange. Details at amex.com/SPY.
NFL team apparel. Unlike some things in life, the jacket is reversible.
Well, what's coming up in October? We've been telling you it's a big month. We got baseball, we got football next week. Good matchups, including these Rams out in San Francisco. That's the late game after the Giants and Cowboys. And the Eagles and Jaguars, as well as that Rams game. It all starts with Fox NFL Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Delayed handoff, Emmitt Smith. Up the middle, open field. Near sideline and tripped up at the 35 by Dre Bly. 30-yard run by Emmitt Smith.
Well, that's the best run Emmitt has had this season. They do a nice job on that right side of just collapsing it down. You see right here, collapsing the defensive end down inside. It gives a lane for Emmitt Smith to run up inside, and he doesn't have quite the same burst that he had a few years ago, but you give him a hole like that, he's going to pick up some pretty good yards. They did it behind the side without Larry Allen as well.
Javier Collins is in at right tackle, and he just moved too soon. And I would too if I had to try to slow down Leonard Little.
Boy, if you take a step back right here.
False start offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You're looking at this Rams team. They come in here at 0-3. Marshall Faulk has the bad neck. Orlando Pace, who may well be the best offensive lineman, at least on this football team. And now you've got Kurt Warner out. So if you're Mike Martz, Troy, I think you really have to take a bit of a different approach to this ball game now. They've had success early trying to run the football, but this isn't going to be one of those 30-point days today. It's going to be like a 17-14 kind of a game.
Michael Wiley in the backfield. Good play by the Rams linebackers as Duncan makes a play. And we go down to the sideline and Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, right tackle Larry Allen, hobbled by a sprained ankle, has re-aggravated the injury. The trainers have retaped that ankle. So far, though, Larry Allen remains sidelined. Back to you.
A lot of tape. You got any tape, Chris?
There you go.
You got any tape, Troy?
I taped my ankles before I got up here.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score, Dallas 7, St. Louis nothing. I think you might want to stick around and see what happens the rest of this day. The NFL on Fox will continue after these messages.
Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, The Matrix, 7:30, 6:30 Central tonight on Fox. Whoa.
Start of the second quarter after a wild first period here in St. Louis. Only 7-0 on the scoreboard, but a lot has happened. On second down, a dump-off pass to Emmitt Smith. He gets up to the 39. Third down coming up for Dallas. Now, the former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys would be Troy Aikman. And Troy, if you dislocated your pinky finger, How would you throw the football?
Well, I wouldn't be able to. I mean, the dislocation, you can do it with some guys, but the way I grip the ball, I would never have been able to do it. But you're not talking about a dislocation. You're talking about a broken finger, and that's an entirely different situation.
You want to know how I would throw it?
Yeah.
The same way.
Poorly?
End over end? Yes.
It's 3rd and 7. Thomas out of the backfield. Good tackle in the open field. That's the rookie Travis Fisher. Time for Dallas to punt. We go back to Los Angeles and check in with JB.
Chicago makes you pay for mistakes. Take a look at Travis Henry. The fumble right here is picked up by linebacker Roosevelt Colvin. He laterals to Mike Brown, 60 yards to pay dirt. 7-7, 34 points over turnovers this season for Chicago. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, James Brown, Micah Noor, his second punt of the day. Terrence Wilkins waiting deep. Ugly punt. And the catch under duress. And the tackle is made. 1-yard return as Tony Dixon came up with the stop, and there is a penalty flag on the field.
I think the Cowboys came to play today. They were embarrassed thoroughly by the Eagles last week.
Holding during the kick on the return team, number 54. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick, 10 yards, first down, St. Louis.
Cole Aye guilty of the hold. Jamie Martin at the controls of this high-powered offense. At least high-powered coming into this year.
Some say he's
back on.
Second try at it for the Rams offense under the direction of Jamie Martin. After the penalty on the punt return, the Rams start with it at their own 14. Torrey Holt, first down. Out past the 34-yard line as Roy Williams made the stop.
Well, certainly nobody's going to confuse Jamie Martin for Kurt Warner, but if you look at this throw and the way he's able to fit this thing in, Torrey Holt comes up and he gets up inside, and there's not much of a window there. He's having to throw it over Kevin Hardy, the linebacker, who had dropped in there pretty good, and Jamie Martin delivers a strike.
I'm going to tell you what, though, you're not going to make a living all day making that throw. That's a pretty tough shot in there.
Up the middle, Conwell. First down at the Dallas 40. Troy, if there's ever going to be a day, if you want to be Jamie Martin and succeed, if he gets protection against this Cowboys secondary, this could be a good way for him to get in there.
Well, there's no question. He comes right back after that last throw. Now he's got Ernie Conwell working down and fits in another tight ball. It's obvious that this kid is not lacking confidence in throwing the football in some pretty tight spaces.
Like I said, I think he can make a living all day with those kinds of throws.
Good point. It's first down, and it's a handoff to Falk. Hey. Gets brought down from behind by Leroy Glover, a gain of 2. Let's go back to the Kurt Warner injury. Roy Williams with the hit. Warner gets up, looks at his pinky on his right hand, which is broken. Dislocated and broken. They put a splint on it, but now Warner's got a headset on while his offense is out on the field.
Yeah, and Mike March told us, he said the one guy I cannot lose is number 13, Kurt Warner. He's lost him for this game. Jamie Martin has filled in nicely up to this point.
Second down, blitz coming. Rams pick it up enough, and wide open is Holt for a first down. Actually, Bruce. And after he gets wrestled to the ground by Ross, who had a hold of Bruce's helmet, Bruce gets up a little hot. Let's go out to Los Angeles and James Brown with a game break.
Hey, Joe, and on this Carolina scoring drive against Green Bay, Rodney Peete hooking up with Steve Smith. Take a look at Steve Smith. Poor tackling by Green Bay as well. 5 missed tackles on this scoring drive. Penalty tacked on half the distance. Lamar Smith's 3-yard run makes it 7-3 Carolina. Back to Joe Buck.
Here's an end around, and now a pass from Cole to Holt. Incomplete. He came down with it, but out of bounds.
Boy, and he was covered, too. I thought Kroll would tuck that one and try to get what he could out of it. Cowboys do a nice job of spotting that one out.
Let me tell you something. When you give a wide receiver the ball and give him the option of throwing it, he ain't running it. He's going to take a shot, and they almost got it in there.
Sure did. You got Lynn Scott back there, 21. Perfect position. He has an opportunity for the interception. Great concentration by Torrey Holt. Unable to get his feet in bounds, however.
Got the right foot down, couldn't get the left down. 2nd and 10. Rams pick up another blitz. This one's picked off. Intercepted by Woodson. 22nd career interception, and the Rams have turned it over for the 3rd time today. Jamie Martin takes over for Kurt Warner. Warner's thrown a pick today, and now so has Martin, as Woodson and the Cowboys come away with it. 7-0 Dallas lead. They have the ball, and the Rams ask for a lot out of their defense today. Woodson with the interception. And the crowd climbs in. Empty backfield and a quick throw to Whalen, the tight end.
We'll go back and take a look at the interception. Here's Darren Woodson right here. He's going to work up in here and act as though he's going to the flat to cover the flat defender. You see him there. He starts sinking back underneath. Jamie Martin never sees him, and that's why you have the interception.
Plus, you had Jamie Martin just staring down his receiver, something Kurt Warner was accused of last week. That allowed Woodson to drop back.
Emmett Smith lost yardage, and it's 3rd down coming up for Dallas.
Well, and this Cowboy team offensively has had problems mostly in 3rd and 1 situations. Right there, you were looking at a 2nd and 1 situation. Emmett Smith has failed to get a 1st down on the last 5 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1 situations.
And we saw him last week against Philadelphia actually just go to a naked bootleg so they wouldn't have to try and jam it up there.
3rd and 1. Now a toss to Smith. Does he have enough burst? They mark him out of bounds with a 1st down. 1st down Dallas. And he just got there.
You know, in last week's ball game against Tampa Bay, Dre Bly did not tackle very well. You see him right here. He's in position to tackle Emmett Smith, keep him from getting the 1st down. He comes in with a shoulder, never gets his arms wrapped around him, and that seems to be a thing that more and more defensive backs are trying to do to bring down ball carriers, is just throw a shoulder in it, and you can't bring down a good back doing it like that.
1st down for Dallas. Carter has it batted down. Ryan Pickett in the middle.
We did so much talking about the protection issues for these two teams coming into the ball game, but this time by the Dallas Cowboys, just absolutely picture-perfect protection. Quincy Carter able to step up, just gets the ball knocked down. You got to find those throwing lanes to throw the ball through.
Yeah, and I know they've been a much maligned group, that offensive line, and struggled in the opener against Houston. Their 2nd ball game against Tennessee actually did a nice job giving Quincy ample time to throw the football.
2nd down and 10. This is Hambrick. Lowers his shoulder and fights forward for another Dallas 1st down. While the Cowboys get a fresh set of downs, we'll remind you that October's magical matchups begin on Tuesday. The Angels travel to the Bronx to take on the Yankees, or Jim Edmonds and the Cardinals take on the Diamondbacks. The world champion Diamondbacks. The road to the World Series begins Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
You get to do a little baseball, right, Joe?
I will be back. No penalty flag as Carter is going to run and slide. It's hard to believe that Quincy Carter came into this game with only 7 rushes for 8 yards, and they want him to do a little more moving around.
And I wonder if Quincy could actually hear Jerry Jones's voice in his head there. He came out, he had his eyes looking down the field. You remember what Jerry Jones said earlier this week? We want you to get out. We want you to run more. Be like Donovan McNabb. Get out there. And then he sat there and he said, oh, okay. And then he just sort of ran and slid in.
You know, and Quincy's played about like what you would expect a second-year player to play. He has his good games, he has his good moments, and then he has his bad moments.
Second down and 8. Hambrick. You can tell with Hambrick touching the ball twice that he has much more burst than Emmitt Smith.
Well, he did last year anyway. You know, last year he got an opportunity to carry the football. He led the league in yards per attempt. He didn't get a lot of opportunities to carry the ball because he backs up Emmitt Smith. But this year when he's had his chances, he really hasn't done much with them. These last 2 carries that he's had is the best that I've seen him run the ball this year, and he's really auditioning for next year. There's a lot of speculation as to whether Emmitt's going to be back and who's going to be the guy to replace him.
3rd and 3. The throw, the completion, the first down to Whalen.
I don't know. Troy doesn't look like he's auditioning right now. He's been in the game for 3 straight plays. And I played for Bruce Coslett in Cincinnati. And, of course, Emmitt Smith coming back in the ball game right now. But we were talking about it earlier. If Troy Hambrick gets hot, Bruce Coslett won't take him out of the ball game. Now, I'm telling you, he's a guy, he'll irritate you, he'll make you mad, he'll drive you nuts. But if you get a hot hand, he's going to leave you in the football game.
A drive that started at their own 4 is out to the 38-yard line, and Emmitt Smith wrestled down. And the best open field tackler in this game so far for the Rams is the rookie Travis Fisher.
Yeah, Travis Fisher and another corner who obviously tackles well for them is Aeneas Williams. But Travis Fisher, the rookie, getting his opportunity to play today. And when you're going to play cover 2, which is a predominant coverage for this Rams defense, you've got to be able to have corners that are willing to come up and make tackles. We saw earlier where Dre Bly was unable to do that. On that play there, Travis Fisher did.
2nd down and 10. Blitz coming. Quick throw. Galloway. Both Fisher and Duncan combined for the stop.
One of the things we saw watching the film last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're a team that loves the blitz, really makes their living with the blitz, is that Quincy Carter, I thought, really handled the blitz beautifully last week against Philadelphia, having a pretty good day here today as well. He doesn't get shook up. He keeps himself under control and actually forced the Eagles to not blitz as much as they usually do.
Yeah, I think Bruce Coslett helps him out with some of the things that he calls in that area.
3rd down and 6. Grant Wistrom, the ball comes out. It goes out of bounds, and it's time for Dallas to punt, and there's the effort and hustle by Grant Wistrom. I know you are impressed with the engine that's inside.
Well, I really am. Grant Wistrom is going to be right down here, and when he comes off the ball, he does not waste any steps. I mean, he is 100 miles an hour. The thing interesting there was he wasn't even trying to rush the passer. He was just running straight down the line of scrimmage. I don't know if there was something that the Cowboys offense showed that tipped him to the fact that it was going to be a rollout by Quincy Carter.
5 minutes remaining in this first half. And penalty flags and whistles before the snap. To delay a game.
There'll be no foul on the play. The delay was caused by the fumble forward when we brought the ball back, so there'll be no penalty on the play. Still 4th down.
So they reset the play clock to 25, and they've put a new bandage and wrap and some ice on the right hand of Kurt Warner.
Well, I know for me, I had a broken index finger. I had a broken index finger as a rookie, and they had to go in and surgically repair it. I missed 6 ball games because of it. I couldn't throw the football. You know, when you're talking about the pinky, it's a little different for some guys. They don't use as much pressure with it. He may, in fact, be able to come back and play much sooner. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to find out whether or not this is a break that's going to require surgery.
There's an injury in the year 2000 that he suffered across the state in Kansas City. Cost him 5 games. The punt from Norr. Fair catch called for. The Punt was muffed. Penalty flag on the play, and it looks like Wilkins recovered it anyway. But there is another marker on that play.
Rams football, penalty flag down.
Wilkins did a good job just to get back on top of that ball.
And the official with his hat off, which means that probably somebody on the Dallas Cowboys ran out of bounds and came back in and maybe was the first to touch the football.
We have a personal foul on the receiving team, number 27, who went out of bounds and blocked a defender. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick, half the distance to the goal.
Once the gunner goes out of bounds, you have to allow him to get back in the field of play before you start to block him again. Obviously on that one, the contact well outside the boundary line.
Here's Wilkins, able to get back on top of it, and a good thing for the Rams that he did. They have it down 7.
The new black is silver. Bacardi Silver Premium Malt Beverage. 5% alcohol by volume. Your night just got more interesting.
Things haven't been the same since you came into my life. You found
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GM, the car company in overdrive.
Interesting day in St. Louis. Rams fans wondering what's next. Jamie Martin and this Rams offense setting up. Ball at their own 13. Delayed handoff to Falk. And a penalty flag in the backfield as Ellis climbed on top of Jamie Martin, rather Ecubon, instead of Greg Ellis, and Ecubon's pleading his case.
I think Ecubon's saying he was blocked into the quarterback, so it shouldn't be a foul.
And they're discussing that very point.
Well, and here's Ecubon here, and the hit that they're referring to, and you know, he certainly wasn't trying to do anything vicious. He got blocked and tried to hold up and just hit him down low.
Well, I don't know, Troy. I don't know if he could have kept from going down low, and of course that's one of the rules that you're not allowed to hit the quarterback below the knees either.
Number 96 defense into the back of the legs of the quarterback. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
I think that's an easy call, and he was blocked on the play, but certainly not blocked into the quarterback.
Here's a reaction by Dave Campo after the penalty. Get him out of there.
I totally agree. I think that's all on him.
Well, and Ebenezer Ecubon, he has had some problems over the course of his career. One, he's had a hard time staying healthy, but then also he was in a real dogfight with Pepe Zellner this year, and a lot of people felt that Pepe Zellner should be the starting end for them, and he's the one who has just replaced Ebenezer. And here's Pepe Zellner right here.
First down for the Rams. The throw is behind the intended receiver. Dexter Copley with the coverage, and Isaac Bruce had it thrown behind him by Jamie Martin.
You know, I think what they're trying to do is they want to get Jamie Martin into this game, allow him to complete some passes. They know that at some point in the third, fourth quarter, he's going to have to show up. He's going to have to be able to make some plays. But I think right now they need to continue to give a heavy dose of Marshall Faulk. When Marshall has ran the ball, he's had success, and that takes the pressure off of Jamie.
Second down and 10 now. Play clock down to 2. Conwell dropped it. Had a little room to run, but dropped it. Third and 10 now.
one of the basic schemes for the St. Louis Rams trying to help John St. Clair on that right side is that they're going to give some help over here to this tackle and then release out late, this time with Ernie Conwell. The play is there, beautifully set up. You just have to catch the football. I mean, you can't get any more open than that.
Yeah, and the Rams have always dropped some passes, but I've never seen them drop this many passes at this point in the season. Every week that we've watched them, they've had 2 or 3 critical drops that would have helped them.
Now a 3rd and 10, high snap. Martin in trouble, and now Falk drops it. Martin's going to need all the help he can get, and he just had back-to-back drops by Conwell and Falk.
Yeah, and when you're playing with a young guy, you've got Jamie Martin in the ball game, a guy who has not played much. He's very inexperienced quarterback position in these ball games, and the guys around him have got to be able to rally. Jamie Martin does a nice job of avoiding the rush, getting the ball out, and these other players, the Marshall Falks, the Isaac Holtz, or the Isaac Bruces, the Torrey Holtz, those guys, Ernie Conwell, they've got to be able to make plays around him.
But Troy, the pressure is starting to get there now. We saw Leroy Glover that time. We've seen this defensive line getting home now.
Line drive punt by Mitch Berger. Swinton from the 5. And Swinton is drilled out of bounds.
You ain't going out of bounds. He's going to walk out of bounds.
Frustration through week 4 here in St. Louis. And it continues now with Martin in the lineup. Marshall Falk frustrated. 7-0 Dallas. Cowboys with the ball and the lead, 7-0. Under 4 to play here in the first half. Their offensive leaders, Quincy Carter's off to a good start. Emmitt Smith with one big 30-yard run, which pads his stats. And Antonio Bryant has 2 catches. Marshall Falk seething over on the sidelines as the Cowboys start with it from their own 25. And Emmitt Smith just trying to find some room to run. Got 1 yard. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Okay, Joe, a little more information on Kurt Warner's injury. That fracture on his right pinky finger is not exactly the same break as the last time. If and when Kurt Warner has surgery will be determined after a re-examination on Monday. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thanks.
And Troy, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that you saw with Emmitt Smith that time, he really has no faith whatsoever in this blocking scheme. I mean, that was a cut that shouldn't have been made. The play was out here to the outside.
2nd down and 9. That's batted and incomplete. Bryant was open, and then it was nearly picked off by Don Davis.
Well, here's a play. Quincy Carter had a guy open, and they was able to get a hand on it. And then you got Don Davis, and those are the plays. Those are, you know, we see it on the offensive side of the ball where they're not catching the football, and then you see it on the defensive side of the ball where they're not getting the, when they have opportunities for turnovers, they're not capitalizing on them.
See that score, 20-0. Detroit leading at home over New Orleans. Aeneas Williams out with an ankle. May return. 3rd down and 9. Big pressure. Little could not corral Carter, and the throw is completed, but short of a first down. Kenyon Rambo with a catch.
Well, that was a little closer to Donovan McNabb right there. And as we talked about the entire game, Leonard Little, the Cowboys just have no answer for him. Javier Collins over there playing now where Larry Allen was, and he is just a living nightmare right now for this Cowboys offense. They're going to have to start to help on him.
The Rams have to use a timeout. Dallas lost one when a challenge didn't work their way, and now the Rams will have 2 timeouts left as they intend to get the ball back here. Let's go to James Brown in Los Angeles with a game break.
Hey, Joe, here's the visual embellishment of what Detroit is doing. Joey Harrington looked excellent on his drive. 2 of 2 for 78 yards, including this 38 yards to Billy Schrader. 20-0 the Lions over New Orleans. Drew Bledsoe's 2nd touchdown toss of the day. That one to Eric Mose. Buffalo on top by 10 over Chicago. Joe, Troy, and Chris.
Thank you, James.
And how long do you think it'll be before a player of Drew Bledsoe's caliber is available to the other teams in the NFL? I even called his agent, tried to get him to Cincinnati. I said, oh, please come. We'll build a statue, anything you need.
You wear a lot of hats, don't you?
I do. I've got a lot of jobs in there.
Mike Anor with another punt, and on the run somehow Terrence Wilkins Pulls it in cleanly. It has been a soap opera around here of sorts for the Rams this season. A little updated version of As the World Turns. A 4th and 2 in Denver didn't work. An ugly day against the New York Giants. And then what's new, the Tampa Bay defense just swarming the Rams offense. And then today, the injury to Kurt Warner, the broken pinky on the right hand after the hit by Roy Williams. From their own 37. Setting up a screen for Falk. Makes a move, crosses the 40, picked up 5.
And with all that's happened, when you talk about them coming into this game 0-3, that last shot of Kurt Warner going down is the worst thing possibly that could happen to this football team, and you just hope that he's not going to be out for an extended length of time.
2nd down and 5. Over the middle, Falk. 1st down. Into Dallas territory.
I like seeing the Rams going into this 2-minute offense. When you're having trouble pass protecting, it really slows down those big defensive linemen when they have to plan to hurry up. They get tired.
Well, the 2-minute warning hit, and that is a ridiculous mistake if indeed they call the pass incomplete.
Yeah, I don't think they counted the play. I think the 2-minute warning got there first.
That's where we are, 7-0 Cowboys.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought.
8-year player, he just made a mistake. The officials got together and ruled it an incomplete pass, the 2-minute warning as well. So it's 2nd down and 10.
The ball was snapped with 2 minutes and 1 second to go. Therefore, the pass was incomplete and the down counts at 2nd down.
2 minutes and about half a second to go, but I do think the officials got it right, and a big mistake that time by Jamie Martin.
And as Martin backpedaled, the clock went down to 1:59 when he spiked. 2nd down and 10. Another dump off to Falk. 1st down, St. Louis inside the 35 to the 32. The Rams will have 1 timeout remaining. And a 1st down, down 7.
Here's that last play. You can see the screen, and what a great job Adam Timmerman and Andy McCollum do of getting out in front of Marshall Falk. You see them coming in the screen. 67. Andy McCollum gets the first one. Adam Timmerman gets the second one and allows Marshall to get up inside of all that and pick up a big gain. That's one of the things that they've done today that they've been successful at.
It's a hardware store drive. One screen after another. Blitz coming. Yo Murphy. All he can get to is the 29, but a good job by Jamie Martin to get rid of it.
Roy Williams has already knocked out Kurt Warner, and now he's trying to get Jamie Martin. He's tearing these guys up.
Martin's also tearing up some Rams timeouts. They're out as they use their last. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. Do they have the 2-minute drill over in NFL Europe? Because Jamie Martin's having a tough time.
Well, unfortunately, the backup quarterback rarely gets to work in the 2-minute situations. Right there, I don't really understand why he called timeout. One of the things you want to do as an offense is get the defense on their heels. They had them there. They called timeout and allowed them to set up.
Blitz coming again from Dallas. Wide open is Holtz, and he has a 1st down at the Dallas 16.
I know they want to come after Jamie Martin, but we saw it last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Mario Edwards and Derek Ross and Dwayne Hawthorne, they're just not going to hold up for very long in man coverage. If they couldn't cover the Eagles receivers in one-on-one situations, they're certainly not going to be able to cover the Rams.
Halloween time. 1999, the last time the Rams were shut out in the first half. We're trying to avoid that. And penalty flags before the snap.
And the Cowboys were back into their cover 2 zone defense there.
Prior to the ball being snapped, offense false start, number 81. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Torrey Holt trying to get a jump.
Yeah, there's really absolutely no excuse for a wide receiver to ever be offsides. You're not supposed to be listening to the quarterback. You're supposed to be looking down the line of scrimmage, watching the ball, and just inexcusable for a wide receiver to be offsides, particularly when you're down here in the red zone.
That never happened to the Cowboys in the early to mid 90s.
You didn't watch many of our games.
First down and 15. To the end zone. Bruce, what a throw and catch.
Well, you watch Jamie Martin in sync here, and Isaac Holt on the other side. He gets a great release inside, comes back out. Derek Ross. That is a perfect throw by Jamie Martin. Unbelievable.
We had trouble managing timeouts in the 2-minute warning, but no trouble taking the Rams down the field. And with 1:25 remaining in this first half, it's a tie game. We will rally around Jamie Martin, and we will continue to play football. Martin celebrating. Warner smiling. Oh, all is well in St. Louis. We're tied.
Alone. Jack.
First of the year for Isaac Bruce. 7-play drive covering 69 yards. 1:19 off the clock. And some impressive throws, especially that last one over the shoulder of Isaac Bruce. And now the Dallas Cowboys will get it back. It was so important for the Rams defense to hold Dallas out of the end zone again, to allow Jamie Martin to get into some sort of rhythm and not be forced to try and win the game in the first half right off the bench. And they've been able to do that. It's 7-7 with 1:25 left. This is Swinton. From inside the end zone, he's going to take a knee.
Well, you look here at this offensive line and the job that they're able to do. We talked about Grant Williams at left tackle, St. Clair at right tackle. They do a nice job on the edges and then up front, giving Jamie Martin a pocket to step up into.
And Joe, I want to go back to a point that you made. You can't understate the importance of Jamie Martin now being able to go into the locker room, having thrown a touchdown pass, a little momentum for these Rams, because they were really lifeless until that drive.
Now Dallas with a chance. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Short throw and completion to Wiley, who instead of running out of bounds is tackled by Travis Fisher yet again.
Yeah, the good thing that the Cowboys have right here is that the Rams are out of timeout, so they don't have to worry about the Rams getting the ball back if they're unable to get a first down here.
Setting up a screen for Hambrick. The Rams have come alive. The rookie, Robert Thomas, with a hit in the backfield.
Now, the one thing you don't want to do, though, is you don't want to give this Rams offense another shot here. Obviously, they're going to go back to the huddle now, try and run this clock out so they don't have to punt the football and give the Rams one more shot.
Right, they'll run it here and then the half will be over.
Big Larry Allen being walked into the dressing room early, re-injured that ankle. Didn't play last week. They moved him to right tackle this week and was out of this one early. That's Wiley. Rams trying to dig the ball out of there. That's going to be it for the first half.
Yeah, and Wiley's not very smart there, trying to run for extra yardage. He wasn't going to get the first down, and he needed to just hit the ground and run the clock out.
The crowd's back in it. The Rams trying to get back in it. Dallas scored early, and it's 7-7 at the end of the first half. Stay tuned for the Visa Halftime Show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Should be a fun second half coming up in St. Louis.
Last year, one series rewrote